All right, welcome everybody. Sorry for that. A little diatribe, but just getting kind of up and running, so a little bit late to the party today. Anyway, welcome to the Bookmap Academy. We'll go through your trades here as we do every Thursday, and news and updates, going through your content. You guys, it's really about you guys, talking us through your trades, going through how can we help you. That's a huge part of the academy. It's the coaching and mentoring part here. So you create the content, we give the feedback. Everyone gets better here along the way, and you can get Bookmap for free. So for example, Laura Swartzen, well, you've been upgraded to Bookmap Junior Academy. Congratulations. You've been doing some really great work. So thank you for all of that. And yeah, we're very happy to boost you up to the Junior Academy. Now that's the step before the Bookmap Academy, where you get Bookmap for free. So continue on, and I'll talk about the stages in just a minute. Yeah, the slide here. I mean, the upgrades are dependent on your content, right? So you need to create the good content in here. This is from our Academy web page. I'll show you where that is here, and you can basically go to bookmap.com and then click on the More button, and then go to Bookmap Academy here under Community. And you can see the steps here: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You can become a coach and a streamer. So you get more and more things along the way. So read through it. And the Bookmap Academy is where you can get Bookmap for free. And you can also get the MBO bundle for free as well. You just have to make your monthly quota of both qualitative and quantitative to be upgraded. There's others out there as well that are on the cusp to becoming Bookmap Academy. I've reached out to you. So can continue on. I know that everyone's had their summer and some, they're doing other things. So I hope you can make those thresholds. We'd love to bring you into the academy. Sajoto, you've been doing excellent content for a while. You're now Bookmap Junior Academy. Congratulations. And then continue on with your qualitative quotas, and you'll make it into the academy. Right. So yeah, congratulations to both you guys. Let's go through disclosures, and then David, we'll start with you and turn it over to you. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so David, let's get going here.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll share your screen, and
if we can get Runner on the mic, if possible, please, Dan. And we'll look through his Scotty setups on NQ, which is through the London close. As a lot of trades are, Bruce, which is always good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this market timing stuff with your London close is just critical.
The best, isn't it? Yeah.
So let's see here. Are you? If you can share your screen, David.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not how we do it.
No.
My bad. I'll share my screen, and then I that's right. Jesus, I'm really losing it here.
He's just on a bike. Runner, good evening. How are you, fella?
All right. Hello.
You can see we're trying to catch each other out here.
I let go of everything.
You had a good week?
Yeah, it's been up and down as normal, but still in the learning phase. So
fantastic.
Happy with where it's been going.
That's good. Well, thank you very much for your great posting, charting, and that applies to really everyone that's been doing the posts in the room. It's really good to see, and thank you all of you for helping me out by putting the date and the time on there, because obviously I talk a lot about the various London closes and so forth, but what it does help, as you'll see here, I can then really go back quickly and then find maybe a chart that can help the conversation. Whereas if I don't perhaps know what time zone or day it's on, I've got no chance of I really. So, do you remember this trade? Do you remember this trade, Dune Runner? You can perhaps talk us through, please, while Bruce enlarges the chart. Perfect.
Right, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on my mobile too, so it's a tiny screen. But yeah, I took a quick look at it. It was the typical setup where we're getting the stopped an iceberg
Yeah.
event. It happened right at a blue lug, using lug width levels for that. And those tend to be pretty powerful. If you listen to Scott's webinars, he calls it the second most powerful thing next to the SI indicators.
Yes.
So they're very strong and reliable. So when those two things line up, then it's a high percentage trade.
Big time.
So I went ahead and didn't wait for any kind of retest or anything like that. Just went ahead and jumped in once it moved the prerequisite one ATR away
Perfect.
from the trade. And we're off and running. Place the stops an ATR below the zone.
Yeah.
And then as we get more zones, as the trade progresses, just keep moving those stops up to lock in profit and just keep going. Try and piece out or piece in at different levels. That's still relatively new for me. Using the volume pressure imbalance. I think on the second slide it shows that a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So we get a spike in that and kind of wait for it to rotate up and down. If it pushes higher, then you can add on, and pushes lower, then maybe take some off.
Perfect.
If you're in a
nice
position. So
Is this a different trade here, or is this the volume?
That's my chart, Bruce. So the good chart from Dune Runner is perhaps a little bit compressed for everyone to see. And my chart, you can just see how the price was really exploding up. So just reiterating.
Yeah, if you look at the actual Discord post, I put a couple extra pictures. I don't know if that made it to the Notion file.
Yeah. And the key thing is, you've rightly mentioned, you're using your checklist, tick, tick, tick. You've got that level coming down. You've also got the spot gamma call wall over there and that options level, which gave really good support on that day and often on every sort of day. Naturally, as you've said yourself, perhaps some of the stops are a little bit tight, but as you'll say to me, I'll say to you, we're in the process of making money here, David. So we can't leave it all around. But yeah, great. Not a lot more to add really. Great trading, really good stuff. Good use of the checklist and so forth. The other chart I've got in there, Bruce, below the one you were showing of my book map.
I actually had a question for Dune Runner too, if you didn't mind, David.
Yeah, sure.
So one of the things that I was seeing in a couple of the traders that were just kind of reviewing consistently, right, that are just doing really great work, Shark Blue, Serga, Dune Runner, and stuff. They all have kind of a unique process, and I was kind of wanting to hear from Shark Blue and Dune Runner now a little bit about your process. Like, when you do your levels, are you manually doing those? Do you have some service that's updating those? Obviously, like spot gamma levels are going to be updated, but like, how are you going through your process? Is that something you do in the morning? Can you give us a little bit of information on kind of how you approach like your day and kind of setting up for a trade?
Sure. Yeah. The morning day, I will go in and update the Excel spreadsheet that I have that has some of the cloud notes just for the inflection zones, and then manually put in the lug. So if you look at my slide, it's got a couple of different columns of cloud notes. I just recently added the spot gamma, which happens automatically, but the other two, I do the inflection zones once a day, and then the cloud notes for the lug levels, I move those just throughout the day. And I have that on my CR chart as well, but I just like to have a visual.
For sure.
On one chart, so I can try and focus on that one chart. And
then, absolutely, totally agree.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, probably 15-20 minutes updating a few things in the morning, and then just making small tweaks as I go about the day.
It really is that easy if you use the Cloud Notes tool. Like it only takes a few minutes to get those in there. So really great job there.
Very good job.
And I just use that with the spreadsheet, and it updates automatically. And if I need to adjust something really quick, it's just a quick, flip it on and make my adjustments, and it automatically updates, every minute or two, whatever I have it set at.
You can set it to be like 1 or 3 or 5 or whatever. Yeah, that's great. I just wanted to make sure like that's kind of what I was thinking, but I didn't want to make the assumption. I really appreciate it.
Great
Sorry, I
stuff.
just wanted
Perfect.
to
Yeah,
hijack that,
I
David.
learned all that going through the just the help files on the app, FAQs and all that. So if anyone else wants to jump in, certainly hit me up
Yeah,
directly.
the
I'd be happy to
Cloud is
answer
one of those.
questions or the.
Yeah, the Cloud is one of those undersold kind of add-ons to Bookmap. I don't think I could trade Bookmap without the Cloud Notes because it's so easy to add those levels and then see them reflected pretty much immediately in the Bookmap. I use them heavily. I know they're not like in my screenshots a lot of times, but yeah, I think that they're really great. So cool. I appreciate answering that question.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
As you
Bruce,
were, David.
thank you, sir. Thank you, and good evening. Bruce, can we go down to the NVIDIA chart? So that's below my other chart. I've added these in simply because I often go on about Confluence and so forth and remind all of us that the index is, the sum of the parts and so forth. And what I'm doing as a trader is looking across that mag 7 or whatever you want to refer it to, and just getting a feel what's going on. So on that day where things are moving fast, I want to understand what is moving. And it was NVIDIA. It's often NVIDIA, or it's often Tesla, or Jack will say, what about Facebook or about Meta, David? Having looked, all of you can look at this chart, and if you were glancing, even when it's starting to move, you think that is starting to move. That gives me confidence when I'm trading, whether it's NASDAQ or ES, that I know I've got the big tech behind me. This isn't some sort of fake out move. And some of the chat we had in the week regarding sort of fake outs and how I interpret that by sort of unpacking the big tech that make up the index. And again, we'll have all seen various comments in the press of late about that, and whether it's on Zero Hedge. Just looking at those charts can really help. Now, I appreciate not everyone's got access to that, Bruce, but certainly something to bear in mind if you can on that area. Bruce, do you want to chip in, please, sir?
Yeah, and just one comment on the Facebook and the heavy text.
I do.
I thought I heard someone say about the Mag 7 is like a 50% of the NASDAQ movement. There was some really heavily weighted, I don't recall the exact stat, but there is Mag 7 for a reason.
It's got to be in that zone. Jack probably knows the exact thing. I do chart Mag 7, although it doesn't get as much attention as, say, NVIDIA and Tesla and so forth. I sort of flick between the tabs as well as flicking onto Spot Gamma to see what's going on the options level. But yeah, it's.
I know they did a recent reweighting in the last update. I think it was June or July. They did the reweighting, so I don't know the exact percentages now. But I do not recall a day when the market moved up materially and tech was not up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it can give you a little heads up, not fully because everything's so integrated, but you can sometimes see like NVIDIA's moving at pace and the indices haven't quite caught up or have decided not yet to move. So it can give you a nice tell.
or even the opposite too, right? Like if we're descending a little bit, but you notice like NVIDIA is just holding 120 for some reason, and then you look at Microsoft and it's only moved down maybe a buck, maybe $1.50 or something, but the market's moved down considerably. I look at that for a potential reversion coming up in the index and to look for the equities to gain some strength again. And we saw that I want to say a week or so ago when we had that larger down move and then we reversed it right back, right? And there was one of those where Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA were holding for like a solid hour before they started capitulating.
Yes.
But once the market reached that kind of exhaustion point from all the other stocks kind of going lower, we did see that V-shaped reversal, and it just set up basically like you see in the image right now on Bruce's screen, just that deep V. It just go to the bottom, turn around, we're going straight back to the top. Here we go.
Yeah.
Better be long.
And I've not posted the options here, Jack, but as you'll recall from that day, the options again were leading it up. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
On this particular day, if I remember right, the calls were excessively bought.
It was vertical, Bruce. It was 90 degrees. Yeah. There wasn't even, it wasn't 85 like this. It was vertical. Yeah.
And it just reversed on a dime. And then the market, I mean, the whole of the index is going to take a little longer when you get this kind of reversal, because like basically all 503 stocks basically are going to get a reversal, right, to some degree, or they're going to like exhaust to the lower end. But once it does and it catches that little bit of wind, it's a brush fire, and there you go. off to the races.
Big time.
Great
Big
job.
time. Good job, everyone. Bruce, sir, catch us, please. Help us. Recover us.
No, you know, nothing to say here. I mean, you're really interesting charts, David, and I think we'll have to, you know, have a session or something and go through. It's been a while since you've presented, but the getting back to Dune Runner here. Just a little bit of feedback, I guess. Some, you know, really, you're following your things. You've got your checklist, like David said. You know, as Jack had pointed out many months ago, put the date on here, put your notes on here. You got that. This is all really solid stuff. It's great, and I would just say, like, there's a lot of indicators on here, and it's, you know, I know that's what you're following, and that's Scott's looking at these things as well. But it's hard to see some of the order flow, and to get some insight from the order flow. And maybe it's just the view on here that you had set up, and to be able to get your points across. But if you had any comments on that, looking at, you know, very specific things like in the order book or the volume that maybe you want to expand on.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as order flow and the order book, you know, we rely heavily on the stops and icebergs.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of, you know, triggers the initiation of a trade, and then it's just a matter of, you know, how long can you run it up. I think it was the exit, or one of the groups you had on that talked about they never get out of a trade. They're always stopped out of every trade they do. So it's just, you want to keep moving your stop up to capture it. So that, you know, I've had some success with that, but I've also, you know, lost a lot.
Well, I mean, this one here is great. I mean, what's really nice visually in the chart here is that we don't see the order flow so much, but man, can we see your stop management?
Yeah.
And it's a
And then
beauty.
if you look at the other, the actual Discord post, usually if there's, you know, notations like that, I will do a close up of that particular time frame, why I made that decision. So if
Oh, I think that's all we
yeah, you'd
got
have
for
to go
you.
to actual Discord. Yeah. But if you go back and look it up, you'll see the you know, I zoom in where the volume pressure index, the volume pressure imbalance is, and kind of like, okay, that's why I moved. And so when I'm working the trade, I'm, you know, zoomed into a, you know, sometimes within a 1 minute or 5 minute time zone, and really reading it. It's just, I can't show that on the first slide because I want to, you know, give the big picture and then go in with additional pictures and show the reasoning for those steps.
Right. Yeah. I really like it. I mean, this is exactly one of the reasons why we keep harping on trading from Bookmap. Look at your stop management, and look when you made these decisions. You know, right in here, you're like, no, I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to place it up here. I have my zones up here. This is what you're looking for, and you get stopped out here as you moved up your stop. So what? You know, great management.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, really good trading. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Jack, do you have anything else? Oh, okay. So let's move on to your other one, David.
Yeah, I've got Jota, but I don't see them in the room at the moment. So let's have a look whether we want to rotate, change gear into one of Jack's and see if they maybe come in a bit later. Maybe.
Sure.
Happy to do it otherwise.
Sure. Let's see here. Let's see who else is in the room right now. Is Caesar in here today? No. Okay. And let's see. Looks like Jack, you had Caesar and Shark Blue, I think. Looks like it.
Shark's with us. Hopefully he's got the audio sorted.
Okay.
Dan.
Well, Caesar's not in. Shark Baloo. Yeah, it's been a while. Shark, come up on the stage.
Perfect. Perfect. You can tell us how his dad's trading options. Can't you, Shark?
Yeah, it's been a bit. There's been a few, but walk us through, Shark.
All right, Bruce, I can hear you.
Yeah.
If no one else can.
Yeah, Shark is still muted here, it looks like. But Jack is getting some comments here in the chat as well. And I think maybe starting off with, well, we can talk about your process that Jack had mentioned earlier. With Dune Runner. Yeah, now we can hear you, Shark.
Okay.
Evening.
Okay. This was somewhat of a different trade yesterday. I have a lack of focus, or excuse me, patience. And so I've really been trying to work on my patience. So trying to just find a couple of things that help me with that. I'm extremely confident in my trade setup. I built that through a long time of collecting stats and just plugging it in, and I have absolute confidence in my trade model. So now I need to learn to stop tinkering with the trade once I'm in. So lately I've been working on setting my orders and stepping away. So that's what this yesterday. I saw my trade set up. I plugged in a stop and an entry, and I left my office.
This was it here, your buy
nice.
limit.
And you see, it after it filled, it came extremely close to stopping out. And this is also something I need to work on, is not just plugging in entries where the technical trigger says go, but letting that pass and watching order flow. So something Slowdown has helped me with, and I've really been getting a lot from Vinny's posts because our trades overlap.
Yeah.
So where this, had I been at my desk, maybe I would have not entered this trade at all, or looked for a different entry, perhaps where it broke low at the 74.50 area. But in this case, it entered. I missed my stop by 2 ticks, and as the closing bell hit, this thing rallied to target. Now I didn't come back to my computer until after the bell had rang and futures were getting ready to close, and I covered at market, right at the target. I think a tick or two away from the target.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, a couple of comments actually come to mind, and we just had a Pro Trader webinar with Options Millionaire who had a suggestion about entries. But why don't we start with some of Jack's. Good morning, Caesar. We got some stuff for you. Jack, I don't know if you have the if you have the ability to speak right now or not. If not, we can just go through your comments here. That if you could touch a bit on your process is what Jack is asking. What's helping you? What changes are you looking to iterate on? So you just talk about set and forget, and anything else?
I'm doing the practice patience, but as far as my process, I think it started I've been trading supply and demand for a long time. So that's my higher time frame. That's what I'm after first. And then when someone taught me Trader Vic's 123R, I decided that it fits perfectly into my supply and demand trade, and it does. So I started incorporating that. But when I first put up a post here at Bookmap and I annotated a screenshot, and there was no trades. It was just me pointing out everything I could see, all the order flow phenomenon. And Owen asked me to join the Blue Jacket, so that's when I started annotating screenshots, and it really helped me see or start to see things in the order flow that I could apply to my trade setup. And then
Excellent.
when you said we should start trading from the Bookmap platform, it took me a little while to get that started. But once I started doing that and kind of zooming in to the nuances of getting in and getting out with the order flow, that whole process, from entering the getting the blue jacket, starting to trade from the Bookmap platform, has all just been a really massive confidence booster in myself and confidence in my trade. So I think going from the supply and demand, then zooming into the Trader VIX 123 reversal pattern, and then zooming into the order flow has all been a series of events getting me closer to my trade model. And now that we started really focusing on entry criteria, that took it another step because as you know, Bruce, you called me out on it quite a few times as I was entering specifically based on the technical pattern, and then kind of reading the order flow around it. So now the phase I'm working on, this is where patience comes in, is letting that technical trigger pass and waiting to find the order flow that says, okay, go time. So I think that's the contrast in this trade we're looking at today, right? That entry is specifically to the technical reversal pattern. And then we see how far price retraced on me.
Yeah.
Which is pretty far. I mean,
Yeah, it did. It did.
4-ish points. But I could have looked for something in the order flow, perhaps where buyers picked up the ball right there where I have sell delta flip sellers buyers. That would have been a great place to enter, and I wouldn't have experienced that time frame of going underwater.
Yeah,
I think the next step is not only to have entry criteria, but to start adding some exit criteria. Someone mentioned recently if I would get out of my trade based on the stuff I'm looking at in the sub chart. Can you go to the entry chart, Bruce? There's a kind of a zoomed in chart here.
is it this one?
No, it's up. It's probably up.
I don't know if it's in. Oh, no, that's Caesar.
Okay, that's fine. It's all here on this chart. I just kind of had it zoomed in around the entry, and I had the sub chart showing there. So one of the things I've been focusing on, and I learned it from Crash and Donkey and Vinny, are the three things I look at in that sub chart: CVD, the VPI, and the price change. Is those can tell me when a very short-term reversal is coming. That reversal might only be a couple ticks. It also might be the reversal that takes me to my price target. But that also shows me when it's a good time to just get out of the trade for a loss, a small loss, or get out of the trade at target. It almost screams reversal. whether that's a reversal in my favor before my entry or after my entry, or whether it's a reversal against me on my way to target or at my target, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know, a few things that come to mind, and actually, uh, well, a couple of things immediately. I just wanted to mention one thing that is kind of funky or funny thing that I've kind of experienced with this new, demoing and trading this new 24/7 simulator that we have. Is because I need to trade some pretty big size in there. It's just ridiculous size, like 100 contracts or 140 or 60 or something like this, and I'm not near that kind of volume, but uh, anyway, the it makes you look at the chart a little differently, and maybe go through that exercise in on some days off or something, or in replay mode or something, and do it in sim. And for example, looking at this chart, would you, if you're a larger player, would you want to enter your 100 lot here? Probably not. You'd probably be like, well, I don't want to be a buyer necessarily here. I'd rather be a buyer down here. I'm looking for a better deal. Now, 1 or 2 lot or 5 lot or something like that, yeah, you get away with that maybe. But thinking kind of with more liquidity and volume, where would you start to manage this? Where would you take some profit? How would you do it? It was kind of interesting exercise to go through, and maybe that helps. Another one was we just had a pro trader webinar with Options Millionaire, and he said, where you're going to place your stop? Maybe consider it of that being your entry point. And you might not get it, but when you do get it, you really nail it. And I don't know, it was just something he mentioned. It was kind of an interesting thought or an idea. Or maybe you can do some different sizing. 1 lot here, maybe 2 lots down here. And then spread your stop out, or maybe use micros or whatever to
I really like that idea, Bruce.
what's that?
I really like that idea of grabbing a starter position at the entry trigger,
Yeah,
and then looking to scale in
just
with
note.
makes more sense. And something I've really been watching Vinny's post closely is, he that same trade right there. I think if Vinny took that same trade, he would mark that resistance where I entered, and and enter further south on some sort of liquidity trigger.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because like we're all trying to like catch these like bottoms and tops, and it's kind of ridiculous. In essence, it's a zone. Where can you kind of fill in your zone? And this is a good place. It's absolutely, this is where buyers came in and started moving it, trapped some of these sellers down here. But we see the sellers still have some say in this market, and able to push it one more time here, and they're still fighting it here, and then they're basically capitulating up here.
I rarely enter with a limit like that. I prefer to use a stop limit and enter into strength. So in this case, I think it would have been better to let that, you know, leave that entry there alone and place that order, further, if it were at the same price level, place it there where it would get tagged on the way back up rather than on the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. David, throwing it over to you.
Thank you, sir. No, great charting, great to see, and great trading. And I do like the set and forget approach. It's something I know, Bruce, we've talked about of previous weeks, and my poor or strong analogy about being in the casino, which I suppose is quite relevant. No more bets, please. Chips on the table, and let it happen. So certainly not fiddling around with the trade once it's in flight is pretty good to see. Although quite bold, actually, I think putting an order in, getting towards the end of the day, and so forth, and letting it rock and roll. So yeah, the trading gods politely were with you there on that wide stop. The thing on those wider stops, and there's no right answer on this. It's something I've been battling with for years. As a simple mathematical, do you have one or two trades in the day where you have a 6 point stop? So you think, okay, that's the amount I could, that's my loss for the day, or do you have sort of 6 trades at 2 points or something like that? It's something you plurally need to sort of get your head around in terms of the setups that you're trying to execute on, and they're either going to work or they're not. Sahota's got that on one of the charts. If we go through later, Bruce, in terms of that, so it's in or out and so forth. The other thing, which you'll know the answer, Bruce, whether you can do it on Bookmap. I can on Ninja. I can set let's say the take profit, or basically the trade gets closed not on points but on time. So if I am away, say from the close, the end of the day, and I'm in a trade, then the trade can get shut, say 5 minutes before the end, if I feel the market is rallying away and so forth. Also, as some of you have seen with my ATM, my little Laura on my little Metallica video, where the system is snapping my stop loss into the market money pretty quick. So long and the short, Bruce, this is a bold trade for me, would be a bold trade for me. So yeah. I'd caution perhaps doing that again, certainly on that time of day. But we all make our own trade management, don't we?
This is probably not the right way to think about it, but this is honestly how this went. As I had a trade earlier in the day.
Okay.
When I looked at this trade and I decided I'm going to stick my stop where that previous pivot prior to the trendline break was.
Mm-hmm.
I decided if I get stopped out, I'm absolutely comfortable with it because I'm riding dime.
Nice. That's fine.
Like I said, that's the right way to think about it. But I really need to get better at not tinkering with my trades. I'm kind of just out of it. I'm not good at setting a trade and leaving it alone. But I've had a couple of trades recently that I didn't touch, and they were fantastic.
Nice.
And a couple of them have been on during Globex, David, at the Euro Open.
Okay.
I'd had a hard rule about not trading Globex for a long time because I've not been able to do it. I'm too impatient. I agree with my trade too much. But the last 2 weeks, I've had, I want to say, 4 trades on the Euro Open that was just fantastic.
Brilliant.
I was pretty pleased with my patience in those because it was pretty slow.
Yeah, the London Open, I know I say it probably every week now, don't I? It really is a gift that keeps giving. I appreciate you can flip up a chart. It didn't give out that day, but pretty much it's a trend. It's such a trend. You'll often get the little, if you've been trading it this week, the sucker's punch. Yeah, we might come down 5-6 points, goes against the trend, and then straight away, bang. And it loves the technical levels. It loves the VWAPs. It loves the POCs. It loves everything else. I only put it into spot gamma today, but Jack, you probably saw that trade I did on NASDAQ. It was to the tick during the London session this morning when it came down to VWAP and then rapidly went up ahead of the print, the news that came out. So yeah, great time to trade if you can stay up all night. That's for sure.
Well, I'm going to keep practicing on my patience and finding little things like this set it and forget it that are going to help me. So
Brilliant.
I very much appreciate the coaching, guys.
No, well done. No, it's great. It's great stuff, and great to see you taking some money out, and the trading gods are on your side, so you'll be okay.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Shark.
Thanks, Shark. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Catch you soon. Take care.
Let's see. Caesar, you are up, sir. Let me invite you to the stage. And it's been a little while too. I've been doing great work. Yeah, keep it up. Just looking for more and more from you. That's all. Let's see. Anything you want to go through in here and kind of walk us through this?
Yeah, I think this one had a nice order flow that was clean. Market has been a little I don't know, it hasn't been good for me lately, but up until last week, end of last week, there was 2 full weeks where the market would just sell off for the first hour in reverse. And after hitting my head a couple times into the VWAP and getting frustrated that it wasn't working, it's just okay. Let's take the lesson that you know this is the market environment right now. So I just went with it. Now we're back to not reclaiming the VWAP, but yeah, I think seasonality has a lot to do with it. But in this trade in particular, a lot of order flow uh, phenomena lined up, and I was able to catch the other side of the VWAP and do something I don't normally do, which is buy at the V as we're going into the VWAP as opposed to sell into it.
Yeah. So I can see enumerating the events in here, the order flow events, but maybe take us through the each one here. Like what you saw was good order flow for you.
So starting with the bounce, you can see we went from red to green. I just love seeing that. Nothing but red dots, and then all of a sudden we start seeing, a good series of green dots appear. That on its own isn't the only indicator, but that's the first thing I wanted to see. And then from there, we start seeing as price approaches the VWAP, it slows down, but then we break through it on a high amount of selling, right? And then we have a previous resistance turned into support. This is something you talk a lot about in your webinars, these little areas of microstructure where buyers appear. You want to see them appear again, right? So when it held, that's when I was able to get in. And, liquidity started becoming clear. Once we cleared the VWAP, it seemed like the book kind of restructured. And from there, I was able to have a nice clean target higher.
So your first, you took some off up here, first target 10 points.
Yeah.
At the standard, and you're looking at the standard deviation on the VWAP as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
The yellow VWAP's the RTH, and then the purple one's one that resets at midnight Eastern. Yeah, I was very conservative on this because it was still against the greater trend. It was a solid sell-off. So I used the 9 EMA to kind of protect myself there on the 1 minute, and it stopped me out. I wasn't quick enough to, pull the trigger back into the VWAP, which is, I think like a lot of the true professionals. Sorry, I think a lot of the true professionals, that's what they do. They keep their eye out and they're not scared to enter again. Because the thesis was still right. The thesis is long above the VWAP, right? And you start getting the liquidity appear higher, which tells you, there's parties interested in transacting higher. And eventually my target would have been hit.
Yeah, nice. Just a couple of thoughts along the way here too. Like on the way down, there's quite a bit of liquidity in these areas getting tagged. Also, I mean, look on the offer too. They're really following down pretty aggressively here. A lot of times we don't see this kind of aggressive offer in the downtrend. It's usually pretty dark, and it's all about liquidity getting filled in the ways down. But no, they're pressing clearly, it finally hits this level down here. I'm kind of curious, is that a higher time frame? Yeah, so that's the 50 level. Yeah. And then a beautiful break. And then to and through, and then back to retest and stayed above it. And then hits the liquidity targets on the offer up in these areas here. So yeah, beautiful stuff. Pressing up underneath as well here. There's some great order flow events in here for sure.
Yeah, the way down is really nice. I've had a rule for a couple months now where I don't trade the first half hour with futures. I want to see what kind of day it is. It gives me a clearer picture. Like, here I was able to tell, okay, there is a bounce coming here, right? As opposed to start chasing things and not have a feel for the kind of day it is. But yeah, that is really nice through there. Is it just like you said, they just keep putting pressure on it by stacking above price to push it down.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. So in the time frame here, this is the East Coast time. Is this your 9:30 cash open?
Yeah, that's Eastern time.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, anyway, as a VWAP trader, beautiful stuff. There's another thing in here that kind of point or is, kind of shows itself here. Is going the big drop here, right? It kind of went back and forth in this little zone in here, not much, but enough. And then it dropped through on pretty heavy selling.
Nice volume.
Yeah, nice volume. And then this is kind of your under over. And it just lines up beautifully with both your VWAPs in here. So you got some beautiful confluence there. And looking just to, if it can get back up above it, then you traded it just perfectly. You're looking for being a buyer at this point on these pullbacks to it. And then, you got your trade management, first standard deviation, and then second standard deviation up here. Was that your second take profit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which lined up with the open price. It just, that chart it was like copy and paste for a couple of weeks. They would do exactly that. In terms of that line where you said the under over, would you consider that an area where those sellers would be trapped?
Yeah, I mean, some of them for sure. This is a pretty big point move. And there's going to be sellers that are going to have to cover back up in here. Usually you see it kind of as that, kind of capitulation or, maybe the second move or, you got, it's a little convoluted in my book because you got, this 50 level down here. And it just kind of goes below that and hits this liquidity in here. And then, boy, it comes out and keeps going. But you don't have stops and icebergs, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. So that is a helpful one for me because if I can see that there's stops, then I kind of assume that it's capitulation more than it is trap traders. But a lot of times you'll see, capitulate or big stop run, and then you'll see another big stop run on the other side too. So you know that there was some trap traders in that area somewhere. Yeah. David.
Great charting, like the use of VWAPs. I appreciate I don't always talk a lot about them, but those that see certainly my ninja charts, Bruce, they're all over it in the various sort of deviations. And like you've mentioned there, I may have misheard it, so apologies. I do run as well different VWAPs and different charts. So let's say I've got like the London VWAP, and then I've got the New York VWAP, and they are slightly different. And it is surprising at times which one for sharp blue in the London morning session, which one they adhere to. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason, but they do. I'm glad you answered the point why you didn't take the trade on the way down. That sort of, I'm going to lean into Laura here. We're breaking down from the opening range bar, the ORB. There's some fantastic lower highs and all the other sort of voodoo going on there. So some great chance to take some points on the way down, but actually respect that approach of saying, no, I just want to see how things are settling, let all those big orders get through before I get engaged and involved and so forth. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, good stuff, Bruce. Very good. No, well done. Well done, Cesar. Well done.
Right.
Thanks, Dave. helpful to know about the VWAPs and that you approach it the same. Like, let's see who's in control or what VWAP they're using.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. And if nothing else, I've said this to several people, if nothing else, if you don't believe in VWAPs or VPOCs or anything like that, fine, great, respect. But what they help me on, and I think all of us, is they do help you see the patterns on the charts, that you see those lower highs, those higher lows, and so forth. And back to the London session, as Sharp Blue will see, so often we're seeing these higher lows of a morning coming off like a VWAP. The norm of it, it can be a deviation of that VWAP, and off the price goes, and it just gives you confidence that you've read the chart right. So what's David saying? If they're not on the chart, put them on there. But I think everyone's got them on there, Bruce, haven't they?
Yeah.
VWAP and POC are my stay out zones. That's fair enough as well.
David, I think you have another one in here, right? Who is your other? Oh yeah, here I've got it. I got it.
I've got Sahota, but I didn't see.
Is he back in yet or not? Oh, you know what? He's working at this time.
Okay.
So yeah, I think he mentioned that's too bad because he's been doing some really nice work.
He has, yeah.
So let's see here. We can jump over to I think this might have been from Stan, who couldn't make it tonight, but we can go over Laura. I got a couple of things in here to go through. So
brilliant.
Yeah. And
Laura's been scaling, Bruce. She's been scaling this week.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. Utter respect, Laura. Brilliant to see that scaling. I think that was yesterday. I was choked with excitement. Well done, you. Well done.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So Laura, I think you prefer not to be on the mic. We'd love to have you, but let's take a look here and go through your chart overview. Failed breakout, then short. Okay, so looking for, there's your RTH open. Tried a few long entries, but then realized that the breakout was not going to go any further. Then you made a short because you heard Jack's voice in your head saying this is a short. Okay, there you go. Excellent. All right, so let's see here if we can zoom in a bit further and take a look at looks like this here is your short up here. Is it the blue, I think? Or is this, I think you're trading from the chart, right?
I think she does, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, it looks like in here and then out, down maybe to the bottom here. So quick scalp from the failed breakout back into the range is what it looks like. Back to POC. Is that right, Laura? Yeah. So I think so. It's like up in here and then back to here.
Perfect.
Blue is long and orange is short. Oh, I can't see the orange. Where's the orange? Oh, this is the orange. Okay. Okay. So there's your short and there's your cover. Okay, I got you. All right. So there's a bunch of blue in here. Okay. Well, anyway, something like that. Well, a question to you about the failed breakout. When did it scream to you failed breakout? And how did you know in the order flow? Oh, there's another image.
Next.
Okay. Let's see. Is it this one? No. Is it? Is this the same image? I can't quite tell. It doesn't look like it.
Don't think so. Yeah.
No. Okay.
It's lost.
It's lost. Oh boy. Okay. Maybe this one. This is oh, okay. You got a checklist on this one.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. You got it marked up here. 1, 2, 3. This is great, Laura. Just love this kind of stuff. Yeah. This is very, very helpful. And let me see. We can zoom in here. Hold on. controls for this thing. Okay, I guess that's as far as I can go. Let's see. All right. So one, trend line break. Okay, so you're playing your trend line. The higher highs in here, well, hitting high liquidity along the way, and then a little bit more liquidity up in here hits that. Cannot get up into your higher liquidity zone up here. Breaks your trend line, your purple trend line here, and then here's your retest here. Anticipated a reversal. Okay, wow. Love the it looks like this is your short in here. So off the bat, like in terms of entry and setup in here is beautiful. I mean, just beautiful stuff. You've got your order flow events along the way, and then you've got, you know, this is what you're looking for, and you waited for this to happen. That's what can be really challenging a lot of times. I'm already kind of ready to go in here, you know, take it down to this or take it down to his, you know, try to ride that momentum, and then, you know, maybe get back in on a pullback. But a lot of times I just take the heat. I try to scale in and get ready for the next move after that if I see it. And instead, you waited for this, confirmed it, you get your pullback, and you get confirmation of more sell volume. Beautiful. And you write it down to the swing, and you get your VWAP along the way. Really, really nice trading on this one. Laura, this is really quite a advancement through the process here.
Beautiful. Yeah, it is. Really good, Laura. And I know on a trade, I think it was yesterday, Laura, when you and I were sort of chatting away, you were literally on the point of taking sort of the reversal trade, I'll say as well, off the POC or off the ORB or whichever level we're at. You were thinking, yeah, this is two-way. You know, I'm jabbing, I'm hooking, I'm hitting straight. Brilliant. It's when a trader can look at the charts, Bruce, and just think, any way I can smack this around if there's a setup and the order flows out.
Yeah, excellent. And there you go. This is another beautiful thing. You learned it from Shark Baloo. Yeah, beautiful.
Awesome.
Like this is exactly what the Academy is for. Like you know, learn from, hopefully from the coaches. We give you good feedback. Learn from each other. You know, everyone's got their own way of trading, and there's a ton to learn here. So find
your buddy, find your trade buddies.
exactly. So your 1, 2, 3 pattern off for Shark Baloo, exactly. And what I really like again is just this patience. You let this play. Let this hand play out. It totally played out, and even the pullback to this area in here, you're like, no, I see the exhaustion on the buy side there, that little green dot, tiny little green dot, and then sellers coming in hard again. Did it even go against you a tick? See, if you wait for these kinds of things and you grab it, like, you don't even feel the pain.
No. And to that point, we had a bit earlier, Bruce, and it was in the chat, whether it's a 2-point on ES, stop, or 4 or 6 or something. On that sort of trade there, pretty much, you can be really tight and bold with your stop, because it's either going to go down or you're going to get smacked, lose your teeth.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't work, it's probably not going to work pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything more to say on that. I mean, this is just perfect. Beautiful example. So I mean, if anything, like, you know, maybe a little bit more on like exit. I don't know what it lines up with over here, but you also have your VWAP, and you're getting out in front of that. And is there still more juice left in this thing? I don't know. Like, it's a great trade. Get out, and but you can see it came right back to test that area, and it failed again. This is a lot harder trading, though, for sure, in terms of the order flow. So anyway, anything else, David?
No. The only thing I would add, again, some of you have seen, I've been my trading screen this week or so. I've been using Renko's, Bruce, over my candles on my trading chart, as that sort of is reminding me and helping me see some of these sort of peaks. But I don't think we've got that setting on Bookmap yet, have we?
Yeah. No, we don't.
Yeah.
um,
I just mixing it up. That's all I do in my trading life.
let's see. So that was this one here. There's another one in here. And let's see if we can go over this one. I guess it takes a little while for it to zoom thing. Let's see here. In retrospect, I see that this was no reason for this trade because there was no HF high time frame level or anything, any other level. CBD stagnated only a little bit. Trend is long. Okay. VWAP, and then so again, same thing in here, right? Or is this the same chart on the higher time frame?
I think it might be.
I think it's the same chart, right?
It's okay.
Because you got your VWAP, it's the same. Okay.
It's the same.
Yeah. It looks like this little area here on this bigger pullback in here. This is what it looked like. Beautiful. Well, so you really you caught it really nicely, and it was probably a good idea to get out because this is a pretty strong directional trade here, and you caught the counter trend here. So off of Sharks 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. No, fantastic. If I can segue this, Bruce.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, I apologize for mentioning again, I put my Metallica clip up, apart from showing how ATMs are, because I talk about that perhaps too often. But it was I know over the weeks, some of the traders have kindly shared, not that it's all about profit daily targets. We know that. We don't want to get hung up on that, in trouble with Scott. But where you are, perhaps in your mind, you just want $600 out of the day on average or something like that. Some of these juicy trades that we've just seen off Laura and others, you just need 2 or 3 of those. I know that's easy to say. You just need 2 or 3 of those and you're done. You are done. Just waiting for the right trade. I know everyone says the same, but yeah, they do present every day. They really do. These nice setups, you've got that trend line, it breaks down, in you go, you take a couple $100 out or so, and that's it. Beautiful. Just do that another 2 times and yeah, get on with your life, perhaps.
Yeah, and then turn that into a couple like $400 a day, or $400 per trade or leg or whatever.
Yeah, just up your lots and yeah.
Exactly. I kind of echo this, David. Like you always hear people say this, but really, like it's really motivating and inspiring to see something really clear like this, and you want to trade this really well, and if you do that, like, it's so satisfying, and you don't even have to look at your profit and loss. You're not even concerned about it. You're just trying to trade the best that you can, and get really good at it and proficient at it. The trade management, at that point, you can just scale. You can just start scaling. And you don't have to worry.
Yeah, and those, if I'm reading it right, because getting those little runners and you just let something go, beautiful.
Yeah. No, really, really good point, David. Wait for your setup. You know what you're looking for. Grab it. You take it. You profit. You look for the next one.
Big time.
Let's see here. Got a bunch of trades for you here. The opening range breakout rejection. Let's see. Let's go over that one too, because we've been talking a lot about market timing and the opening range. Let's see what Laura's got here. All right. So I'm a little confused on the timing. Is it 6 hours difference that you're talking about? Is this 7 p.m. or
I think she's on Chicago time, but I've been wrong a few times tonight. I think she's an hour behind you, Bruce.
This would be the open here. Is that right? 10:30?
No, I think she needs 8:30 for
Oh, 8:30. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's doing again. Laura would say, "No, I'm not." Type away. No, I'm not, David. The which I have the 1 minute opening range bar, and I keep it for the whole day. I know it's slightly different to what Jack does and others do in terms of market profile and that sort of thing. And I think this was the trade we were looking at the date, Laura. Yeah, this was yesterday when you and I were talking, wasn't it? Yeah, and my Metallica clip, I think, is just before the next image word, and then the price has scooted down to that 2140 to the tick, literally. The lower ORB that many hours back, and if you've got that on your chart, you are eyeing for that 180 for that reversal. And we had some ice coming in, as we can see, real change of volume, and knowing that level, you have the confidence with which to, I'm going to buy that. Also, if you're bold, it is slightly higher risk. Once it starts to move, then you've got a fair idea where the target is, a bit like earlier on when you've got the POC or VWAP to go and put your stop in there. But it can be, I find ORB can be a bit, particularly in this uptrend market, can be a bit bolder trading into it. It's better to be trading out of it. But again, we make our own things, Bruce.
Yeah. I'm a little confused on this one because I can see the entry down here, and what's really the strategy behind this? This is your 1 minute opening range breakout. It's still trending down. You got your trend line. You can see the green coming in, the cat in the hat green and purple here, we get it clearly still trending down. Now it comes back, retests this area, and we probably see a stop run or something. But I just don't see much until that volume maybe comes in around here, especially right here, and then up here with that trend line break. So I don't know. I wouldn't, unless I'm zoomed in or something, maybe you see another trend line break in here, and then that's your entry, and you're only looking. I would only be looking to trade it up here, which is like where you moved your stop. A little confused on the setup. This is where what would help us and maybe help you as well is go back to the checklist. Okay, it's on the next image.
Next image, yeah.
Okay.
But as some of you know, or a lot of you know, I do trade more these levels, and the flow's not always there, naughty me. So.
Okay, yeah. So this is what she's looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's your entry. Here's your entry. So you're scaling in here, and in that. You don't even have a take profit. Nice. Okay. So you're just moving your stop up. And then letting that take you out. There's a lot of things to kind of consider in here. Well, first off, I'm still a little confused on the. I know it broke your trend line. I see the volume come in, and I see the volume come in above this little area in here. That's pretty good. This one I'm a little confused on. Looks like you got stopped out at break even on that one actually, and then you got in again, and then you were very aggressive, also moving your stop up. And in this one, you just nailed the momentum. You got it here. Didn't even go against you, it looks like. So you were able to be very aggressive with your stop on this one. Nice catch on that. Here's your setup, and maybe work on the checklist a little bit might help to be able to articulate exactly what you're looking for in your entry. And short squeeze as well. Absolutely, there's a lot of squeeze going on in here someplace, probably up in here and probably through this area in here. David, catch me.
Certainly. No, great trading, Laura, and lovely to see the ORB in practice. And I'm sure you might be or do it because you've got ES on there, where you've got both prices on NASDAQ and ES. Getting towards those ORB levels, of course, it reinforces that level in the market. And I know you've been through the World Book as well. He also charts YM and everything else, and the Russell as well, to give more confluence across those zones. But yeah, and also when that comes in, Bruce, time of day, getting towards the London close and that sort of thing, it can be a very lower risk setup for sure. But I appreciate it's not always about the levels. You've got to mix in everything else in with it as well. But well done, Laura. Well done indeed. You might be muted, Bruce, or
Sorry.
I lost my hearing.
Yeah,
I lost
sorry.
So, I'll get back to Van Halen. It's okay. We're talking about Eddie.
You thought you're losing your hearing. I thought I was mumbling to myself. So
We're kind of happy for if we both mumble to ourselves, I'm sure.
yeah.
Well done, Alan. Good to see Alan in the chat there.
Yeah. Welcome, Alan. Laura, really nice progress. So kudos on you. Let's see here. We can move on, and there are some other spreadsheets in here, guys, that we got from both David, Moby, and as well from Stan. So I'll put them into the chat so you guys can see them, and go through the notes from the other coaches that weren't able to attend tonight. So we'll put them all in there. And let's see here. I can jump over to what I've put together. We've got a couple of, we got a newbie in here. Liz, welcome, Liz.
Welcome.
I don't know if she's in here. Someone was in here that was another person. No, I don't see her. If you are, hit us in the chat. And just something that Laura, to continue on here a bit more about the progress in here that was so nicely articulated by Slowdown about marking up a little bit of everything, trying to understand order flow, trying to understand these elements in here, starting to kind of sift and see through patterns and getting to the refinement stage. You can see, a handful of months in here, 2-3 months, getting into this stage in here, and then you're kind of in between this stage and stage 3 now. So continue on focusing, looking at other order flow elements, I think, and then really get into the stage 3, where you're looking exactly at your specific things, and what they look like. I mean, Slowdown has such great content with his visuals, and has his diagram up here and everything. So then what this looks like. You may consider. I know you were sketching before, and what your setups were, what they look like. I would encourage you to continue with whatever it is that to help you visualize what this thing looks like when you are out trading, and what you're looking for it to materialize into. Anyway, just a few comments in there. Let's see. So Liz, I don't think she's in here. So I did want to go over though, and as a newcomer to the Bookmap Academy, she had, you probably saw this in here. Pretty interesting kind of way of looking at it in here. She put it together in a kind of like a little document or white paper or something. And she's got her higher time frame. She's got Bookmap, and she's got the all the details in here. What she's looking for, and it's the next step is to start to put these into the checklist, etc. And it's a little hard to read though, and it's not very good for our academy purposes. Just a comment there. I took the images and took a couple screenshots and took them out of the document there, but they're still pretty zoomed out in low res, so it's kind of hard to go over some of this stuff. Anyway. yeah, that's a comment there on some of your things here. And also you got your higher time frame, and you got your volume profile that you're looking at in here. Yeah, a couple of other ones here. You got another one up here, and then looking at the order flow in Bookmap, and here's the referral to back to the white paper here. Yeah, I don't think she's in here, so I think we'll just jump over to Alan instead. And it's been a while, Alan, as well. So yeah, welcome to the stage. Let's get you
We
up
got the
here.
lights going, Alan. I hope we got the lights and the music, Alan. I hope so.
Hi, yeah. Did anyone buy the speaker from someone?
All right, Alan, take it away.
Let me zoom it. What do I? Thank you. Oh, I knew he was gonna put this one because it's a bad risk management trade. So I'm sure nobody's ever done this, giving away all their profits from a trade. If you could see where I entered on the left, it's hard to see the trend. Yeah, there you go. So I tried to, I did get the short squeeze, but we had 3 years on top. You see it's hard to see the exit, but you see the three. My main target was the number 3, where the number 3 on top of the big blue, on top of the big blue on the left side, on top of the big green bubble.
This
Yeah,
one,
under the 3.
this one here. Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah, I see it here.
So then it went up underneath there. So what you circled was my original take profit. So once it got that close, I wanted to hit my target, and then stubbornly I held on, and then I here right where your markers is. I should have got out like like halfway through at least and take half the profit. But if the arrow, a lot of arrows, but it shows where I got in, where I bought in. I ended up letting it go all the way down to the bottom of the range. And then eventually the short squeeze went my way. But this is very dangerous because you get rewarded for negative behavior, and should not be practiced in real life, but we all do it, and it's just you know this is like I would say like with Nasdaq maybe you get away 6.5 or 7 out of 10, but those 1, 2, 3 times it'll kill you. I mean, you should never do it. But we all do it anyway. We have it's that being. It's one thing I struggle with is that wanting to be right and you can't. And this is an example of it. Even though I was right, it's still a loser. What if it didn't come back? That'd be a shame. Look at how much I went up just from where I got into the big green. That's a pretty good trade right there. And then whenever I get halfway there, the logic is, well, it's only halfway. It can come back the other half up, and then before you know it, it's half the other way down, and then you're at the bottom there with huge red bubbles and a negative P&L. And thankfully, those huge red, it's kind of covered where your pencil is, but those huge red bubbles, and you can see it on the sub chart too. Like it's almost at the bottom of the sub chart. Like you can't even go further, and that caused it's covered with my writing, but that caused a really strong push of the short squeeze right through the PLC to the first. I've been using the anchored VWAP a little more, so it went up right to my exit that I wanted, like exactly where I wanted it to go to the first standard deviation band. But I knew Dan was gonna put this because everyone always puts in their beautiful $1 million trades, and this was an example of something I'm sure we all do, just not brave enough to admit. And it's like I said, it's very dangerous. A lot of times in trading, we get rewarded for negative risk management, and it just takes one time to blow your account. You just don't, you just get stubborn. I want that extra gear. It'll get there. It worked from yesterday. It worked the day before, so it's sure today, right? No. How do you know? I didn't know. I mean, I just got lucky on that it happened again. But I mean, Did you lose me?
Oh, there you are.
Yep.
You're back. Okay.
You're back. You're back. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's 100% lucky. I mean, it was even if it was, even if I heard the positive, you know, order flow, and I saw the I don't know, but what do you call it? The VWAP, POC, and all those. What are they called? Like
I don't know, indicators or
average lines, or I don't know, whatever carry they fall in, like those type of lines, and I see them above. You know, so there were some bullish signs, but it's really like that's why I put the right thing. Like just I can't stress enough. Like just it's so tempting to wait for it to come back to where you are, and that's really like the hard part of trading is being wrong. It's like being wrong, you know, and sometimes it's hard to grasp. Uh, you know, I know like as long as you follow the risk management as long as you follow the risk management process, the trade is considered successful, and it's hard for me, and I'm sure a lot of people that how can you say that a trade that you ended up with a negative P&L was a good trade? It like I understand the concept, but when you're in the middle of the heat of the battle, you know, at 4 o'clock, everyone's Warren Buffett, you know, but in the middle of the trading day in the heat of the battle, like you have to just accept that, and you know that, and like realize like most top traders, like even like, when I read like $1 million traders are like right 30%, 40% of the time. So that's something I'm still struggling to not let it bother me. But I figured it was important to post something like this so people could see something that we all have done. But I don't know if anyone, you know, it's hard for us to show everyone because it's not fun to lose. Even though I won, I would consider this a loser.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Alan, thank you. I mean, like you know, it's brave of you, and also very self-reflective, uh, and
And very stupid.
well, don't beat yourself up so much. Like I would say, like if you don't learn from it, and if you do this again and again, then you can start maybe using those kinds of words. But like uh, you know, like you said, we all do it, and we all find ourselves caught up in this all the time. Is a part of trading. So it didn't work out.
Well,
Why? Why though?
I've done it more than once. I mean, much more than once because it ended up working out. But it's not the right thing to do. It's just one time that you're wrong. Like cops and robbers, drug dealers, and the DEA. The drug dealers have to be right 100% of the time. You have to be right just one time. So if you just have to, so here reverse it. If you're just wrong one time, your account could be blown. You know, because Nasdaq can look at that sharp uh, stop run. That was a huge stop run. I just got lucky. It didn't go tanking even further.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe you know, talk about your entry in here. I mean, because like there's a lot of momentum here to the downside. I mean, it's pretty clear, and you know, it is breaking here. And you know, you can start looking at, you know, you can make a case for the ATR. Maybe this is right, but I don't see anything happening until maybe, you know, in here or here, that it starts to break.
It's in the beginning of like consolidation. Yeah, I see what you're saying,
I mean, on
but
this time
I can't.
frame or view,
Yeah,
uh, and
I kind of smelled the short squeeze because
you can look,
the
you can see it.
the POC was raised. Yeah,
You can see it right here, though, and we've gone over this a lot of times. Is like we're always looking for this retest back up into where it dropped from here through the swing, and what do we have here?
that's what I did. The
Liquidity,
main target was
liquidity right
yeah.
here, right?
Yep.
So this is actually a beautiful short, because it's mostly selling. It's a pullback on lower volume. Like it's hard to see in here because you can't quite see the volume and the bars, but low volume pullback into high liquidity at a level. That's pretty good. If it was Laura's setup that we just covered, it's hard to read in here. I don't really see the selling coming in. Maybe down in here, but hard one on that one.
Well, I put a explanation of why my entry in real time. I saw the stop run of 90 right there. I put with the arrow to 90. I saw 90 stop run, which yes, is a conflict with what you're saying, Bruce.
Yeah.
But in the heat of the moment, it was going really fast, and it just like from also screen time, my gut feeling. One, I saw the 90, and then also I saw the it's a little hard to see on the bottom where the buy ice is 62. There's a green arrow there, so I saw that, and I figured, yeah, I might take a little bit of heat on the downside. There was no perfect entry, but it was within my parameters of like what I was willing to lose. So it just smelled. I know. I just sniffed out short squeeze, and I actually did. Yeah. It went. It didn't go exactly right away, but it almost went straight up. For where I got in.
Yeah. True.
It was the confluence of the like a nice size, like almost 100 short squeeze. What really got me is the icebergs, where is the Ryrie circle. So that's what this, and then even from where I got in, even I took the the few points over there, first downward, it was within my parameters, like I said, of the members parameters, and it still was a nice. It almost got like to my point, but that would have been it. Look, where I got in at 57.50, and I could have gotten out at 66. It's almost 10 handles over there that I had. I should have had a 5, but I gave it all back. But then you can see how it plays out. But I can see how. Now looking at it, I see why you say short. But when it was happening live, it wasn't really like I didn't see it as real selling. Once I saw the 90, and I figured that huge markdown, that's not real selling, because like that's a very large stop run over there. So that was my thinking behind the law. I gave a little explanation on the left side of why.
Okay.
So, seeing the start at 90, the combination, the confluence of the 90 and the buy ice.
Okay.
That's
all right.
reason.
Reconsider like looking at it the opposite way, or like going over. I just have a couple comments and then turn it over to David. One comment is, as you said, like, you're mentioning is bad risk management. It's like I really screwed up, and I wanted to show this chart. You wanted to show this chart, and like but then this, and that's really, really good, that reflective element. But just go back and like look at it, going through the same kind of markup process of what I did wrong.
Right.
Do an opposite, try an opposite markup. What did I do wrong? What did I do right?
Or negative checklist.
Yeah, exactly.
Which parts are graded lower.
Yeah. Consider something like that, because maybe that will be helpful. Another thing too, like, I mean, we see it so many times in the NASDAQ, like it really responds well to liquidity. Typically, now it blazed through this little area in here, but it hit some of this liquidity down here, and it certainly hit this liquidity here, and then reversed at that point. So this one did not reverse. This one did. This one did. This one went through, but like typically, the NASDAQ at a kind of a higher time frame level hits the liquidity, and you'll get a bounce. So keep that in mind. Like, this is just a beauty right here.
But there is something good to learn. If you notice that Bruce, like a lot of, I learned this from you, that if you can see the where I get out the positive, where like you see where it goes back up, it stops right where the selling started. You see, like that NASDAQ is like notorious, for that. Right. You see right exact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you could thank Dan for this. He encouraged me to be brave and show a crappy trade. So.
Hey, there you go. Excellent, excellent.
Shout out to Dan.
David, jump in here.
Certainly so. Well, you know me, Alan. We're good mates. So I'm not going to
No
be nice
problem.
tonight. I'm going to knock,
Go ahead.
reps
Do your worst. Do your worst.
into the grill. What I'd be yelling out at you as a friend is that the market had dropped 300 points when you would go. So 300 points down, and you're going long. That's a bold move, buddy. That is a bold move. I take counter trend trades, but I don't do them discretionary. I'm sorry to repeat my Metallica stuff. If I was getting in here, my stops are going to be bang straight into the money when I've got 2 points up, and that's it. I'm not, if I'm bold enough to take a counter trend trade, and if I was looking to get along on this, I would be looking for at least a couple of tests of that level. So, we argue whether you want to call it a double bottom and so forth. The price got back down to pretty much where it was at the end of the cash close yesterday. So bold trading down. So the advice there is keep an eye, which you do, on the overall trend of that market, particularly where there's been a big move down. Yes, there's meant to be made on the upside, the squeeze, as you say. But if you are going to roll that dice, your stop management has got to be machine-led, really. It's got to be brutal, really, Alan.
I hear what you say about the downtrend, but I prefer to trade on the bullish side.
For the higher risk, don't you?
Yeah, because they're when Nasdaq, their short squeezes like all over, like like you could see like under the POC where I wrote POC, there's like a little short squeeze under it, and then it goes, it's a little like down move, and then it squeezes it back up. So I'm always worried that if I get in short, I'll get squeezed like a little bit. Even like if you look at the consolidation, like all the way on the left, you see it's just like little squeezes up and down. So I'm a little more comfortable with like going from the long side, even if it's counter trend. But yes, you have to be more careful. But like you told me, David, just said like a long time ago, screen time, and I've seen it do this so many times. So I guess a little bit was instinct, but it was
That's fair. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I'm at the screen today, I'm thinking, okay, when are they going to press? I call it the bats button, the buy all this shite. When's that going to get pressed? And I'm looking at the individual stocks like we talked about earlier on with Nvidia and so forth. I'm looking at the options, thinking, okay, when are they going to swing in, roll this back out? So I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how much it goes down, there will be like short squeeces, the bully buybacks,
people are
all that in the middle at some point. So if it's, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't want to say
there's money to be made there. There's money to be made there. That's for sure.
If you're comfortable, like I don't know. I guess with the, I like the mean reversions and all that stuff. So
sure.
Yeah, I felt comfortable. It was just stupid. I should have gone out at half profit and taken that, And then if I would have taken that, I could have got on the next short squeeze. The one that I ended up winning, I could have had two short squeezes. I just covered it because the screen space. But
but nice sharing, Alan. I appreciate it. It's nice all of us sharing some of the ones that we're learning from.
This is like a don't drink and drive commercial. You see the trader sitting by his desk with breaking his monitor. This is one of those stuff.
Yeah, the odd Hollywood actor. Yeah, getting stopped. Yeah.
Like, look at the mess of the sub chart. Look at how many all those. Is there really that buy ice that 62 buy ice like right underneath the 90s? Really like what I was playing. Yeah. And it worked for a bit, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, it did work. It worked, but because
go back and reverse engineer it, Alan.
What do you mean?
And learn from it, like that kind of like inverted checklist type of idea, or negative checklist.
I'll give it like a low rating of what a.
Yeah, I mean, go through like what did I did this wrong. Number one, number two, I did this wrong. Number three, like. I didn't take profit up here, and then it, really went against me. But I don't know. Just consider it. Like
maybe we did something right.
How if we can't, if we don't learn from it, we're going to repeat it.
Yeah.
Einstein. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's very
But the
cool.
other thing to that checklist is what Laura put down is what would Jack say to you? Or what would Bruce say to you? Or what would David say to you when you think of those trades? Thinking, yeah, what would Jack be saying now? I'm thinking of going long here. What would Jack say? I know it's a bit sort of tongue in cheek, but you know, yeah.
What would Jack say? I don't know. But the thing is that everyone has their own personality, their own view of how they see the market, and everyone could make money somehow. So it's so like I can think of what everyone would say, but I know like what I look for.
Yeah.
Not saying that none you guys. I'm not dismissing any of your guys' advice. It's just that
But we play our own game. As I talk about golf or whatever sport I'm trying to pick on, we make our own way down the fairway, but we still play together.
yeah.
Agreed.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks, Alan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff, Alan. Appreciate the share. Good stuff, fella.
Yeah.
Guys, I think I mean we've been going for like an hour 45. I'm kind of cooked. I don't know
You were
if
cooked before we started, buddy.
I
weren't we?
was. I know. But if we look in let's see here, it looks like Stephen and we went over Shark Blue, so that was good. No, it would be like Stephen and Vinny and Hector. I mean, we've got to get you up and running in here. RJ3, great to have you in here. So if you want to, yeah, way to go, man. Three trades and profit on all of them. If you want to join the academy, or you're in the academy right now, so if you want to start marking up your charts, and the process is real simple, and just join into the the room and make a few comments, and start marking up a chart, put it into your spreadsheet. You're off to the races, and we'll open up the mic for you and see what you have to say and give you some feedback, or you tell us what you did and what you liked, what you saw, etc. So
Perfect.
yeah. David, as always,
Thank you,
tell
sir.
us.
Well, thank you everyone for all your posts and your trades. As I say, it's a lovely community here. Good stuff on the ramble earlier on, Bruce, regarding the music. Everyone have a great weekend. Get those trading guards on your side, as we talked about earlier on. And thank you again, and speak next week. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, coaches. Great stuff as always. Have a great weekend, as David said, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye.